Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 3 in our Flotsam series. We are focusing on getting sustainable food today. We've already, in the first part of day 8, gotten our food reserves back up to 4, but we are using up our seaweed as very quickly. And while we're catching fish and we're drying the bottled fish, it's going to take some time for that to happen. But our food reserves are going up pretty quickly. As far as our water reserves, we should get a net gain on water if these stills continue to produce, but I think what I'm going to do is add one more here to the end so that we can make sure that we're all set with water for sure. Let's put one more of those in, and that way we'll definitely have a gain on our water. So it's just going to take a minute for that to get produced. We got fish being produced, so everything is doing well with that. We're also still researching salvage boats, and once we get that done, we'll set up a dock and have boats heading out for our salvage. Okay, we got our day 8 report. We've managed to produce more food than we consumed, so that's a win. Our water is still slightly low, but we managed to get enough water that everybody was able to drink today. With our 5th solar still, I think we should be at a point where we're starting to get a gain on water. But we'll have to wait and see at the end of day 9 what happened. We're still working on our research, but mostly we're just continuing on with production. I think I'm going to head out to find another area. We would ideally find somewhere where we can get some more seaweed. We're going to need more ropes. Let's head out over here and see what we can see. We're also going to be running really low on electricity once we go over to this side of it. But that's okay, we can recharge. And there's some seaweed, that's perfect. Right, so we'll start right here. And we'll set somebody up, harvest all of our seaweed. I do not want to be using the seaweed for food production for the moment because I want to instead get seaweed turned into rope so we can build some more technology. We do have the unbottled fish, or the bottled fish, being turned into fish sticks in our or dried bottle fish is the name actual food, but it's done in our fish sticks building. So that should give us enough food to be sustainable for the time being. So we just need to get the rope built so that we can go into building our seaweed grower. But we also need to figure out where we can collect metal scrap from. And I'm not quite sure where that is. I'm sure that there is places we can do it, but I'm not quite sure. So we'll have to just keep exploring until we find that. So for the first time on day 9, we managed to hit the sustainability level. We crafted as much water as we consumed, crafted more food than we consumed, and we restored more energy than we used. So that's a good sign that we're on the right track. I did this incorrectly when I wanted to stop making seaweed salad. Now I have unqueued it, so we're good there. We're collecting some more seaweed so that we can start making ropes. And we're going to queue that up for infinite for the time being. We want to make a whole bunch of rope. So the next steps are to finish doing some more researches and start collecting some more things. As far as the metal goes, I did notice that over here on the map there is some wreck salvage, so it looks like maybe that's a place we'll be able to get metal. That's my best guess right now, so we'll find out once we get over there. We've finished our research for our salvage boat. The first thing we need to build is a mooring point, which allows us to park a boat Basically, it's a boat parking spot. We're going to put that right here next to our other fishing related thing because it just makes sense. And then we're going to go check out our research panel and see what else we can research. I think Toolmaker might be a good idea because that'll allow us to start harvesting some of the salvages to get dry wood. We could also do fish kebabs, which allows us to grill fish, or we could do the unbottler. This might be a good idea because that'll increase the amount of food we get from our fish. Let's go with the unbottler. I think that's a good idea. And then after that, we'll move on to the Toolmaker and get into the other stuff. So we've moved on to a new spot to do some salvaging. We have a little bit to unpack here. First, this is a good place for us to salvage metal from vehicles and road signs. But we need tools in order to do it. So the other thing is that here we have the ability to rescue another drifter. I'm not quite ready to pull him on because I don't have a spot for him, but while we're parked here, we can work on getting to the point where we have a bed for him and adding in another still. I think that we'll be able to sustain him once we have that. So we'll work on getting that, and we'll work on getting the research for tools done before we leave this area. Let's check out our day 10 report. Looks like we consumed a little more food than what we crafted, but that's okay. We have a pretty good stockpile, and water we're actually getting a gain, so that's pretty good. We'll just let things keep rolling for now, and we'll get our research done. I think that I'm going to switch off of the unbottler and go to the Toolmaker because I need the tools for the metal instead. So that's going to be our priority. Like I said, we're going to sit here for a little while and let our drifters do some work and collect a bunch of resources here. We have a lot to do here, so we'll be here for a minute. Got ourselves a new drifter, and he's already gotten himself right to work charging up our battery. Welcome, Jumbo, to our little floating disaster zone. I also got our salvage boat up and running, so the boat is going around collecting plastics, which is a much faster process and doesn't involve any of our drifters getting the soaking wet debuff, which is pretty cool. I do have another bed for Jumbo. I'm still working on getting more water production up, but I think we'll be okay for now. Let's check out our research. We're halfway through to getting the Toolmaker done. Definitely want to work on getting up to desalinator at some point here too, but that's going to take us a minute. But once we get the Toolmaker done, we'll start being able to do gather and salvage metal scraps that we can turn into metal plates to get more things done. Specifically, that would let us get the seaweed grower up and going. So, a lot to do. We need to start doing a little bit more better with organization as well, I think, because right now we're running out of places to put things. But as we get more research done and we get to the point where we can do things like larger drying racks, we can get rid of some of these, and that will help us for sure. But I think what I'm going to do is start another row that goes like this, so we have somewhere to build coming out here. That'll be good for now. That'll give us something to work with. We finished some more research. We now have an unbottler that we can build. We're starting in on the chopping block to get into this tree. I have increased our water production. I've also upgraded one of our drying racks to a big drying rack. Once we have enough materials, we'll do another one as well. And that means we can slowly get rid of some of these. We don't need to have 6 of them because this one will do 3 on each one. There's also another upgrade level for that. Cool. They contracted a disease. Not good. I don't even know what to do for that. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But for right now, we're just still continuing with production and research. Now that we have tools being made, we can head back over to our car wreck and salvage some metal. The other thing we need to find is another place to get some seaweed, because we don't see any more. But if I can get the metal, I can probably make the seaweed grower, which means we'll be able to produce our own seaweed, which would be a good thing. So we're going to finish salvaging out this little area here, and then we're going to head back over to the car to get some metal. We're down back at the car wrecks, and we've used up our tools to unlock the metal, and we are now salvaging a bunch of metal from the road signs and from the vehicles. What we need to do back at our base, oops, I hit the wrong button there, is build the scrapsmith so that we can do it. But in order to build that, we need to actually have some metal scrap. So once our salvager gets back, we'll be able to do that. We're also going to need some more plastic. So what we've been doing for plastic when we don't have any is taking some of our goods, breaking them down into plastic waste and dried wood, which is allowing us to make more floaters and planks to build more things. So we need to get one more piece of scrap metal, which he'll go back out to the wreck to get, and finish producing some more floaters. So we can see, let's see, can we do that? We'll follow him out here and watch him do his thing for a minute. He just comes up and he salvages everything. He just uses the hammer and smashes the car into bits. It's pretty funny. So he's just going to keep plugging away, getting all the metal he can carry, which I think is 5 at a time in the boat. Or maybe that's just his inventory, maybe he can carry more. But that's pretty neat. So once he gets back, we'll have some plastic as well, and we'll get our scrapsmith set up, which will make metal plates, which will let us build our seaweed grower, because we just need 3 metal plates to do that. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get all that done, because we actually have to get the scrapsmith built and then actually make the metal plates. But we're getting there. We have set up our unbottler, which takes our bottled fish that we catch and it separates it into fish and into plastic waste, which is pretty cool because not only will we have unbottled fish that we can use for our recipes, but we'll actually get some plastic out of this process as well. We're switching this drying rack from doing the dried bottled fish to the dried unbottled fish, which has a difference in pollution in the food, which will help since we keep getting diseased drifters because they are consuming way too much plastic. So that is a good step towards where we want to be. So now I put it right here because as soon as we catch the fish, they can get put right here and get unbottled and taken over to be handled. Still working on making more floaters, but we need more plastic waste, so we're getting there. Just going to take some time. Gotten our metal scrap set up and made our scrapsmith, so now we're turning metal scrap into metal plates, which is the last step we need before we can build our seaweed grower. We're also going to need to make some more rope, though, in order to do it, which means that once we're done salvaging here, we're going to have to go around and find somewhere where there is some seaweed. So I think that what we'll do is head up to this side so we can finish clearing out this little zone area. We have a few more islands to collect things from and some more scrap spaces, but hopefully up here there's somewhere where we can find some seaweed after we're done salvaging all of this area. But we're going to call it for today with this episode, and we will continue working on trying to get to the seaweed grower and getting things a little more sustainable in the next episode. We're still researching some things and getting the desalinator set up, so we'll be able to progress some more when we come back in the next one. Hope you enjoyed watching it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.